What is going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Drampa Zoroark deck that Daniel Altavilla just used recently to win the Mexico City Regional Championship. So huge congratulations and shout out to Daniel on that awesome finish. Yeah, taking first place at a regional tournament is awesome, and he also did finish in the top 4 at Madison Regionals with, I believe, the same 60 cards, which is pretty crazy. 2 weekends back-to-back, played the same 60 cards and took it to a top 4 and a win. As far as finishes go. So very, very impressive. And I think this is a deck you're going to start to see a lot more of. Zoroark is very good right now. Zoroark Break is very good. And of course, we all know, based on the Garbodor deck, that Drampa can be very good as well. And this deck just has solid matchups. So we're going to go ahead, without further ado, start this video off by taking a look at Zoroark here. The 100 HP Stage 1 Dark-type Pokemon with the ability Stand In. Once during your turn, before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon. So really reminiscent to Keldio's Rush-In ability, of course, if you're familiar with some expanded cards or if you've been playing for a long time. And then also Mind Jack here for a double Colorless Energy, 10 damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So if our opponent does fill up their bench, we can start to swing pretty hard, especially when you consider things like Professor Kukui and Choice Band. Mind Jack can hit for a ton of damage potentially. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the stuff we have going on here. 2 copies of Zoroark Break as well with Foul Play. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. We don't need the same energy as them. We can do it for just 1 Dark Energy, copy whatever attack they have, and use that against them potentially. This is going to be very good against opposing Drampas. Can also be good against things like Tapu Lele, being able to use Nature's Madness to just discard an energy and do 180 damage for just discarding 1 energy is pretty nuts, if you ask me. Also, we can just Lysandre and KO their Vikavolt with the 1 energy discard as well. So lots of good stuff we can potentially do there in that specific matchup. We'll see if we maybe end up playing that or not. We are playing a 4-4-2 line of Zoroark Break. We are playing 3 of the Moonless Madness Zorua here that lets us confuse our opponent's active Pokemon. And then also 1 copy of the Zorua with Winnie Voice. Now, I think, not quite sure the total reasoning behind Daniel's split of the 3-1 Zorua, but I guess the main reason would be, if your opponent ever does put themselves down to just 1 card in hand, you can go grab the Zorua with Winnie Voice, discard, or make them shuffle that card back into their deck and potentially leave them with a dead 0-card hand. So I guess that's the reasoning for just 1, but in general, the Moonless Madness Zorua will be the better one to attack with. Usually we don't want to attack with either one, but if we have to, I guess Moonless Madness would technically be better. Now, we are also running 2 copies of that Drampa-GX with Righteous Edge and Berserk, 2 really solid attacks, letting us either discard a special energy from our opponent's active Pokemon, and Berserk, of course, can hit for 150 damage if we have any damage on our benched Pokemon ourselves. Also, Big Wheel GX attack we could potentially use as well. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 10 cards. Can be nice, but we also could use Foul Play to copy one of our opponent's GX attacks if they have a GX attack we would rather use. So we may do one or the other of those. We'll just have to kind of see what the scenario use. Of course, if we do use a GX attack with Foul Play, that still does count as our 1 GX attack per game, so we couldn't use another one. Some other of the kind of one-of tech Pokemon we have in here is Tapu Koko with Flying Flip, 20 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. This can let us get some damage on board early, so that it's easier for Zoroark to come in later on and clean up some KOs with Mind Jack. We also have 1 copy of Oricorio here with Supernatural Dance. For each Pokemon in your opponent's discard pile, put 1 damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. Now, I think the main obvious standout matchup that this card would be good in would be against Vespiquen. They have a ton of Pokemon in their discard pile. We use Supernatural Dance to just spread damage across the board over the course of a couple turns and clean up some knockouts and take multiple prizes in 1 turn eventually with Supernatural Dance, but it can also be good in some other matchups as well, so don't sleep on Oricorio Supernatural Dance for other matchups, like I was saying. We do also have 1 copy of Oranguru here with Instruct. If we, once during a turn, you may draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. So this is just a great guy to have on the bench. If we do go to a low hand size, we can just draw 3 cards. If we get into a low hand size or delinquented, if we have Oranguru, that can kind of prevent those plays. Also, Psychic could be a good attack we use at some point. 60, 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, but more often than not, we're going to be attacking with Zoroark and Drampa. We do also have 2 copies of Tapu Lele-GX with that Wonder Tag ability, letting us search our deck for a supporter card and putting it into our hand. Going to really help us get set up turn 1 with something like a Brigette or a Pokemon Fan Club, but depending on what we want to do. And then also Energy Drive is a good attack as well. And 1 copy of Shaymin-EX. The setup ability just so good. Lots of decks are moving away from Shaymin, but I think it does fit very nicely in here. Just sometimes you want that additional draw outside of just the your one supporter for the turn. So Shaymin can be very nice there. So let's go ahead, without further ado, expand this, take a look at the rest of the deck, and see what else we have to work with. 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher here, letting us either put a Pokemon from our discard pile directly into our hand, or shuffling 3 Pokemon from our discard pile back into our deck. Either function could be very good in this deck. Getting rid of Pokemon early, like the Breaks or the Zoroarks, could be bad, so we might want to shuffle those back in. But also, if we just want to get one of them, we just get to put it right back in our hand. Also, 1 copy of Special Charge. DCE is a very important resource in this deck. All of our attackers use it. Besides, I guess, Zoroark Break, but even then, the Zoroark Stage 1 does use it, so being able to shuffle back 2 double color synergies can be very nice. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, of course, just most consistent lineup there, being able to search out Tapu Lele, Shaymin, whatever we want, Ultra Ball can find for us. 4 copies of VS Seeker, letting us reuse any of our supporter cards out of our discard pile. 2 copies of Team Magma's Secret Base, so that we can, this is a way that we can damage our benched Pokemon, so that we can boost the damage of Berserk on Drampa-GX. 1 copy of Brigette here, letting us search our deck for 1 basic Pokemon EX or 3 basic Pokemon and putting them directly onto our bench. So usually we won't use it for the 1 basic Pokemon, just usually for 3 regular basic Pokemon. We could go grab 2 Zoruas and a Drampa, we could grab a Zorua, Oranguru, and a Koko. Like, we've got a lot of options there of what we want to grab. 1 copy of Hex Maniac, just a great one-of supporter, especially with Tapu Lele, being able to search it out at any time. 2 copies of Lysandre, letting us bring up whatever our opponent has on the bench that we want to take a knockout on, or potentially stall for a little bit. 3 copies of N as well. Shuffling our hand into our deck, drawing 6 cards at the beginning of the game can be very good, and also can offer some disruption later on down the road. 1 copy of Pokemon Fan Club. Now, it may seem weird to include both Brigette and Pokemon Fan Club, but I guess Brigette just is really nice for getting that turn 1 setup. Getting 3 Pokemon on the bench can be very nice. And if we don't want to go with a Drampa early on in the game, but if we do want to go with a Drampa, Fan Club is the better way to go, since we do then get to damage our Pokemon with Team Magma's Secret Base. And Fan Club can just also be good in the middle of the game, being able to search out something like a Shaymin, getting out another Zorua, or even being able to search out like an Oricorio, like any of our attackers even. A supporter option to search out attackers can be very nice as well. 1 copy of Professor Kukui here, letting us draw 2 cards, and also boosts our damage done that turn by 20. Very nice. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, just still all around the most consistent draw supporter in the game right now. And 1 copy of Teammates to round out the supporter cards. If one of our Pokemon was knocked out during our opponent's last turn, we get to search our deck for 2 cards, excuse me, which is very powerful. If we do get knocked out, we do have these 1 prize attackers. Being able to use Teammates to go search something like a Choice Band and a DCE, something along those. Teammates is just so good in these decks that rely on DCE so heavily. Being able to search out a double color synergy is very nice. 3 copies of Choice Band here, just boosting the damage that our Zoroarks can do, as well as our Zoroark Breaks and our Drampas. We also have 2 copies of Float Stone. Works really great with that stand-in ability on Zoroark. We can just stand in and retreat back to the bench. 4 copies of Double Color Synergy, of course, we already talked about how important this card is, and 6 Darkness Energies to round the list out. Now, we do not have any Super Rod or any way to get back the Darkness Energies, so if we do need to be mindful of that throughout the games today. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead. Oh, we got a new ladder. We're going to hop in, grab a game, see what we can do. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, definitely please be sure to leave a like down below. Helps me out a ton. Also, make sure you're subscribed so you can see any of my new videos anytime I post anything. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff at TrainerChip. You can find down in the description always. So, looks like we're going up against Dome99 here, playing a Lightning, Psychic, Colorless Grass deck, so maybe a Tapu Bulu Vikavolt deck? We'll have to see. This is generally a pretty good matchup if this is indeed Tapu Bulu Vikavolt. Our start is not the best, I mean, we have to get rid of a lot of supporters at once, which isn't great, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So we'll go ahead and click done here. And we do see a Tapu Koko. which is a card people have run as a one-of in these decks before. So I think we're just going to go Ultra Ball here. Grab, we'll get rid of Lysandre and Kukui. I think we might just grab our other Lele as long as it's not prized. It is not. And, whoa, we prized Fan Club and Brigette, so that's a little awkward. That is a little awkward. We might just actually consider... I would have grabbed either Fan Club or Brigette here, preferably Brigette, since we could just damage the Lele, since we have Magma Base in our hand. Now I kind of just want to grab a Zorua, bench it, and then Sycamore. Yeah, that is really not... Prizing both of those kind of throws me off a little bit, but we'll just go with the Zorua. Go ahead and get that guy benched. We'll put down the Team Magma's base. I didn't want to damage the Zorua if I didn't have to. And we're going to go ahead and Sycamore. And we do get a Zoroark for the next turn. We have a Drampa. Putting damage on the Drampa won't obviously be that great. I do want to try to get damage on something this turn if I can. We'll go ahead and put down Drampa. And we'll go ahead and attach the DCE to it, I think. We do have DCE to attach and attack with Zoroark next turn, though. But this puts on a pressure of a potential turn 2 KO. We could Ultra Ball here, get another Pokemon in case he bumps the stadium. A lot of Vikavolt Tapu Bulu decks are not playing replacement stadiums, though. So that's something to consider as well. If we just go Ultra Ball in Zoroark, we get down another Zorua, get some damage on it as well. I think we're just going to pass here. We do. I don't want to have to get rid of Zoroark. We do have Rescue Stretcher, of course, to just get it back immediately. But I think we'll just kind of wait and see what he does. And there goes the Field Blower. That's something else to consider. I was just thinking, like, he doesn't play Stadiums, but he does play Field Blower. So he may get rid of Magma Base and the Choice Band. So now I do wish kind of I had gone and gotten something to put some damage on the bench. But if he does hit this Lele and we can get a Float Stone and retreat it, that would be enough for Drampa to do some damage. But looks like that won't happen since he does just attach a Lightning Energy to Koko, attach a Choice Band to Koko, and then set up for 3 with Shaymin-EX. And if this may not actually be Vikavolt Tapu Bulu, we'll have to see. I really was thinking it was. But looks like Trainer's Mail is going to find my opponent in here, so we may see him play that. And sure enough, my opponent is going to go ahead and in. You know, this could just be a Tapu Koko deck, but I'm not sure what the grass typing would be. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's the Aether Paradise, so he does play stadiums of his own. I was kind of assuming this was Tapu Bulu Vikavolt, but it may not be based off what we've seen. So, we do get... Alright, I'm going to go Ultra Ball. We're going to get rid of In and Tapu... Koko, I think? Yeah. Gonna go just grab the Zoroark. Go ahead and get that guy in play. We could also get a Oranguru here. Do we have 2 Float Stones? We do. And do we have our other Magma Base? We do not. So we did prize our other Magma Base, so unfortunately Drampa won't do a ton for us here, but even if we can hit it for 80, we can set up a knockout on the next turn. So I think we'll try to do that if we can. We'll definitely just go ahead and grab Zoroark. We'll attach to Drampa, and we'll end. My opponent didn't do a lot on their turn, but I don't really want to discard Rescue Stretcher or via Seeker. Okay, so we didn't get a Float Stone, so we could stand in, but I think we'd rather Lele take a hit if anything. And I think we're just going to click done. So a really, really slow start here, but my opponent also looks like he kind of had a slow start as well. So we'll have to see what they do. I'm still not totally sure what kind of deck this is, and there we do see Vikavolt, or Grubbin come down. So this is Vikavolt of some kind, maybe Vikavolt Bulu, we're not quite sure. I would assume Vikavolt Bulu. Vikavolt Tapu Koko doesn't make as much sense as Bulu does, but we'll see, we'll see. He's gonna go Skyla here, we'll see what he grabs with this. Maybe just an Ultra Ball to get down another Grubbin. He's going to get a Max Elixir, actually. Okay, so that's not something you typically would see in a Vikavolt deck since you're pulling energies directly out of your deck. But if he has another Tapu Koko in his hand, this does make sense since he can just play down Tapu Koko and then Arrow Tail and hit us for some damage, but looks like that's not what he's going to do. So 3-6. We can just take out the Grubbin here, which I honestly kind of think is our best play. It seems a little slow. I really want to bench another Zorua if we do that. I really want to bench another Zorua if we do that. So what? Ultra Ball away, Rescue Stretcher, Dark Energy, double Rescue Stretcher. I think just Rescue Stretcher, Dark Energy is okay. Get down another Zorua. We've got 3 Darks left, so got to keep that in mind, of course. Put down Zorua. We'll go ahead and... Oh! Okay, that's not good. Totally forgot. So Grubbin actually would live, but we would force him to find a way to retreat it. Oh, I can't believe I forgot about that. I can't believe I forgot about that. Maybe we can just... So should we just end now, or should we still just Lysandre and hit this thing? Yeah, I probably wouldn't have Ultra Balled away all that stuff. I might have just end. But I think we're just going to go for an in here. Oh, I cannot believe I did that, guys. I totally forgot about Aether Paradise. Would leave Grubbin with some health, unfortunately. So 3, 6, 70. We would only hit it for 40 on Tapu Koko. And then 1 energy would just knock out Zoroark. I think I just kind of want to pass. Should I bench this? I think I want to save the spot for a Lele, potentially. I think we're just going to click done. This is a very, very slow game from both of us. We're getting a little set up here. I'm really hoping he hits our Lele for just a little bit of damage so that we can come in with Drampa. Take a 1-hit knockout on the Koko, but I doubt we'd see him do that. He actually could GX and KO the Lele, which would be unfortunate. And the 20 damage from Magma Base actually allows him to knock out our Drampa with a Sky High Claws. So there's another energy coming down onto the Grubbin. We do see the attachment there. Let's see if we see the Tapu Thunder GX. Lele comes down, maybe going for a Lysandre of some sort, or something like that. I could just go grab a Sky, like if he has another Skylar or something like that. No, but he's just going to go grab a Lysandre, so we might see him bring up Drampa here and just KO us with a Sky High Claws. Ugh. This is not looking good, guys. Not looking good. The 20 damage is really bad on Drampa from the Magma Base, because now he doesn't even have to use his GX attack. And we're not going to hit that much here with Zoroark. I think we just kind of send up Oranguru. We can always stand in, of course. So we'll just send up Oranguru for now. Okay. We can use Zoroark Break, actually, to get a KO on the Tapu Koko with using Tapu Thunder. So I think we're going to try to do that if we can. So we get rid of Sycamore Zorua. Really hoping we can find one of our 3 Dark Energies. Oh, I just got the wrong thing! I just got the wrong thing. Well, so now we have to hope to draw Zoroark Break plus Dark Energy. Zoroark Break. Oh, we got it. We got so lucky there. I can't believe I misclicked that, guys. I cannot believe I did that, but luckily we are not going to be punished too badly for it. We just go ahead and stand in. Oh my gosh, that would have been terrible. 5, 10, 15, yeah. 250 damage, minus 30. We still get to do it. And we will use Tapu Thunder GX, KO our opponent's Tapu Koko. All their energy out of play now. I cannot believe that I misclicked that so badly, but looks like it'll work out for us, hopefully. We do have Teammates in hand, which is great to search out either a DCE, Dark Energy, something like that next turn. Wow, that was almost so bad, guys. I cannot believe we did that. So, we could have just attached the DC to Zoroark and just hit the Tapu Koko for a little damage, set up a 2-hit KO, but by that point I think we would get kind of far behind, so went a little aggressive, we ended up getting what we needed, and it paid off. Ultra Ball here, we'll see what he goes for with this. We see him get rid of an Elixir and a Lightning Energy. We still haven't seen anything like a Tapu Bulu, which is kind of surprising to me, not gonna lie. And there goes the Vikavolt, so that means he probably has a Rare Candy in his hand. Rare Candy. Into Vikavolt. So if he has a way to retreat Tapu Lele, he could actually Electro Cannon and knock out Zoroark. And he's just gonna end. So let's see if he gets a way to retreat Lele, plus if he has 2 energies in his deck. We do get Teammates back, which is really nice, and that would mean if he did that, we could potentially KO his only Vikavolt, which would put us very far ahead, because all we have to do, of course, it has 150 HP, its attack does 150 damage. All we need to do is Lysandre it and KO it, but looks like he's just going to go for an Energy Drive here. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, not enough to knock us out. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40. So we actually can knock him out with a... That's actually really funny. We can knock him out with an Energy Drive if we put a DCE onto this Zoroark. Which I think we're just going to go ahead and do. And we're going to bench this so we can Instruct for 1. So we're going to go ahead, Foul Play, Energy Drive, and that... I was really concerned because it didn't let me choose Energy Drive, but since it's its only attack, it makes sense that's what it did. And there we go, find a Pokemon Fan Club and a Darkness Energy. We do have a Teammates in our hand for the next turn. He will be able to Electro Cannon KO our Zoroark, but I don't really care about that too much. He is going to go ahead and in us. We do have an Oranguru on the bench, of course. And we get double Zoroark there, and he's just going to go ahead and concede, meaning my opponent didn't really get anything there. And yeah, that is game number 1 of today's video. Despite our really bad misclick, we end up coming away just fine and coming away with a win. So we're going to go ahead and grab another game here as we get 25 tokens as well. Maybe we get a chest that we can open up at the end of the video. Oh, no, I don't think we would. Oh wait, no, they introduced some new thing with like win streaks so you get more points, right? Have they already introduced that? We'll find out. So, yeah, we'll see if we can find another opponent and see what Drampa-Zoroark can do for us. It was a really interesting deck there for my opponent. I don't really know how Vikavolt does with the Tapu Koko deck. It makes a lot of sense with Tapu Bulu, I think, and I think Tapu Koko is a decent one-of in that deck, but other than that, it looks like we're going up against another potential Vikavolt deck here. So we'll see what my opponent is playing. Going first here would be very big, because then they're just another turn behind us because they're forced to find a Rare Candy and evolve into their Vikavolt. So they're going to call the flip. We'll see what it is. We do win the flip. Very good, and we will choose to go first. Definitely really nice. As we start, we'll start with the Oricorio, for sure. Float Stone in our hand. Nice. We have Choice Band in our hands. Click Done. And we'll see what my opponent's playing. We just see a Tapu Lele from them, so we'll go ahead here, put Lele down, and we'll go Wonder Tag. We will find Brigette with this, assuming it's not prized. I didn't want to play Brigette. I don't even play Brigette in my deck, do I? I'm pretty sure I don't. In that case, we'll just go grab Hex Maniac. We do have the Fan Club in our hand at least. Getting 3 down would have been great, though. So I think, based on that, we'll just go grab Zorua and a Drampa, maybe? Yeah. we'll just get Hex, put it in our hand. We'll go ahead and play Pokemon Fan Club. We're going to go grab a Zorua here and a Drampa. Okay, go ahead and bench these guys. We'll go ahead and put the DCE on Drampa. Threaten that turn to Berserk, potentially. And we're going to go ahead and click Done. We could attach Choice Band or Float Stone. I really don't want to do that if I don't have to, though, since Field Blower does exist nowadays. And our hand actually looks pretty good for the following turn. We're going to see an Ultra Ball from my opponent here. We could take a turn 2 knockout on the Tapu Lele with a Berserk from Drampa. But let's see what they get here with the Ultra Ball. They're going to discard a Field Blower and a Float Stone, so good thing we didn't put those tools down. They might have been able to Field Blower them away. And he's going to grab a Tapu Lele himself. I just realized, look how sad my opponent looks in his like profile up here. You don't gotta be sad, dude. It's okay. You're playing Pokemon. You should be happy. So he's going to go with Tapu Lele's Wonder Tag here. We'll see what he grabs. Maybe a Fan Club or Brigette himself. And yep, we do see Fan Club come out. This may give us an idea of what he's going to be playing. We maybe should have grabbed Lysandre off the Lele so we could get the turn 2 Lysandre KO on a Grubbin. But he's just going to grab 2 Grubbins, so maybe if he had only grabbed 1, that would have been okay. But he's going to go bench Grubbin number 1. Grubbin number 2 comes down. And we'll see what else my opponent has for us. Energy attachment to the back, Tapu Lele, and on to our turn. Alright, so we get Zoroark here. We're going to put a Float Stone on the active, actually, because we'd rather put a Choice Band on this later on, I think. Choice Band, Dark Energy, and we're going to go ahead and end. We do find Magma Base and a Pokemon, which means we will get the turn 2 Berserk 180 for a knockout here onto the Tapu Lele. Very, very nice. So we'll go ahead and retreat. No reason to attach Choice Band or Dark Energy. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and Berserk. Take the knockout, go up, take the first 2 prizes of the game. Really nice draw off that in there, getting a basic Pokemon plus a Magma Base. And we do get a Zoroark break for the next turn, meaning we can stand in and foul play any of our opponent's attacks. And I'm pretty sure Lele won't have a way to one-shot us. He's actually playing Dragonite, which is very interesting there. Hyper Beam for 130 and discard an energy is not that bad. A card that we've never really seen attack that often, but its ability is also very nice in this deck to potentially get back your Grubbins, getting back your Booloos. So I don't actually hate it. I don't know that it's better than Drampa necessarily. We'll see if we see him Arrow Tail. Looks like he will. Very interesting. And if he can't knock out Drampa, we will just get to take a knockout again with Berserk on the following turn. And at that point, I think we'd be kind of too far ahead. He's going to go ahead and Ultra Ball for the Vikavolt, though, meaning he probably has the rare candy in his hand. If we top deck a Lysandre, we can definitely Lysandre the Vikavolt and foul play KO it. We could also Ultra Ball for Lele for the... we can also Ultra Ball for Lele for the Lysandre, of course. So Wonder Tag here. Let's see what he is going to get. Maybe a Skyla for the rare candy if he didn't have it in his hand already. Excuse me, guys. And yeah, sure enough, he's going to go grab Skyla. So we'll see rare candy Vikavolt. And that means that we will get hit by the Tapu Koko this turn. He could use his GX attack, but it won't be enough to KO us. It would only hit us for 150. If he does have a Choice Band, though, that would be enough to do it. But then he'd put himself at a 0-card hand. And I think if we can Lysandre and take out his only Vikavolt in play, that may be... I'm not sure if that's better than just taking out the Tapu Koko. Really not sure. So we'll likely see him Strong Charge here. We've only played 2 cards, which is kind of funny at this point. 2 turns, 2 cards. As you can see, we don't need items to set up necessarily, so against the Drampa Garbodor deck, we'd be pretty good to go as well. But we'll go ahead and see him put 2 energies here on this Koko. If we can get a Hex. Yeah, so let's go ahead here. We'll attach energy to Zoroark. We'll evolve to Zoroark Break. I think we'll Ultra Ball. Discard the N and the Dark Energy. Yeah, discard N and Dark Energy. And we're going to go grab Lele, and we're going to Hex this turn. We're going to Hex, take a knockout, and then I don't really think there's going to be much my opponent can do to combat that. So we're going to go grab Lele, search out with Wonder Tag, Hex Maniac. We're going to thin our hand out as much as possible, of course, use Choice Band, because if he ends us, we don't want to draw Choice Band. We want to have the most options to draw something like a Sycamore. Go ahead and play Hex, and we'll just go ahead and Berserk. Take the knockout there on the Tapu Koko, take all of my opponent's energy out of play. They have no way to power up an attacker this turn, unless they play Max Elixir or something like that. But we haven't seen anything like that yet, so we'll see what my opponent can do. They're going to send up the Grubbin. We don't have the win next turn. We'd have to top deck a Lysandre or something like that. We'll see my opponent's going to Sycamore away in Olympia. So if we can top deck Lysandre, we can win the game on the following turn. If not, I think our position is still much, much better than my opponent's position at this point. Just onto our turn, a pass. No Lysandre, but we can go ahead and attach to Zoroark Break here. So we can Mind Jack. And we're just going to Sycamore. We get a Oranguru, nothing else we can play though, so we're just going to go ahead and stand in, and we'll take out the Grubbin with the Zoroark here. And we could foul play Vice Grip, but we're just going to go ahead and Mind Jack. Take the knockout, meaning we do only need to take one more prize to win the game. Get a Choice Band off the prizes, and let's see what my opponent can do. It's not looking hot at this point. They can't Lysandre stall anything because, of course, we can just stand in with Zoroark Break. Foul play would allow us to copy Hyper Beam, which would be enough to knock out Dragonite. I'm pretty sure that the damage by foul play is boosted by Choice Band, right? Yeah, it should be. I don't know why it wouldn't be. They won't be able to knock out this Zoroark Break either with Dragonite unless we see a Kukui from my opponent. Via Seeker, probably going to just be inning us to a low hand size here. He's actually going to Lysandre. Let's see what they Lysandre. We should just be able to win the game from here, though. He's going to bring up the Drampa-GX and Hyper Beam KO it. Choice Band boosts with foul play, right? The attacks of the Pokemon do 30 more damage. Choose one of your opponent's active attacks. Yeah, so we just send this guy up and we foul play Hyper Beam for the game. Very nice. I'm pretty sure that this is how it works. If it doesn't, though, I want to be prepared for that. We'll go ahead and bench Drampa. Put this here, put this here. This is all very preemptive, just in case. We'll go ahead and Kukui as well. Why not? Get out a few more cards if we can. We'll Ultra Ball away in and Magma Base. Don't want to draw either of those. Go get another Zoroark. And we should be good to go. This is just all very preemptive in case for some reason I'm crazy and this doesn't work. But this definitely, we should be hitting foul play for 180 here. Yeah, okay. 30 from the Choice Band, and we'll choose an energy to discard. 30 from Choice Band and 20 from Kukui, of course. So there's the deck. As you guys can see, it actually is super, super strong. I like the deck a lot. Once again, huge congratulations to Danny on his win in Mexico City and the top 4 in Madison. Both awesome, awesome accomplishments. And yeah, going into the Origins special event this weekend, this is definitely a deck I am heavily considering. Let me know what you guys think about the deck. Any changes you might would make. What are you thinking? I like this deck a lot. Let's go ahead and we'll end the video there. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm going to get out of here. Till next time, guys. Take care.